Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into Milan Fashion Week?
Always exciting.
This time I really wanted to look at how Milan's blended high fashion with art and all this digital innovation. Like even the way fashion's presented is changing.
Yeah, Milan is definitely at the forefront of that.
So we've got the official Milan Fashion Week schedule to look at
Okay.
and a press release about Simona Cochi. You know.
Oh, yeah, the fashion journalist. She was a pioneer with the whole live streaming of fashion shows.
Exactly. She was one of the first.
Look.
So let's start with the schedule itself. I mean, honestly, it's kind of a who's who of the fashion world.
It's packed, yeah.
Gucci, Prada, Armani, Versace, Dolce & Gabbana. I mean, it's a bit overwhelming, to be honest.
It is a lot, that's for sure. But you know what's interesting? It isn't just runway shows.
Oh, right.
There are presentations, exhibitions, even cultural events. It's like Milan's really showcasing fashion in all these different ways.
Interesting. And some of the venues are amazing, like Palazzo Morando, Palazzo Reale, Museo della Permanente.
Oh, yeah, they're really deliberate about using these historic palaces and art venues.
So it's not just about the fashion then.
No, they're really merging fashion with all of Milan's rich cultural heritage. Like Palazzo Reale, they have a retrospective on Leonore Fini.
Oh, wow.
And she was an artist whose work has really influenced fashion over the decades, the surrealist style.
It's like they're saying fashion is a part of something bigger, like a larger artistic and cultural conversation.
Exactly. And that's even more clear when you look at all the exhibitions they have happening
Oh, right.
alongside Fashion Week.
Yeah. There's that Balenciaga shoe retrospective, which is huge in the fashion world.
It is.
And an Art Deco exhibit, too.
That Balenciaga one's particularly cool because it's all about how footwear designs evolved, from practical shoes to these conceptual pieces. It's like shoes as both fashion objects and works of art.
Oh, I see. I also saw they have an events section on the schedule. And it's not just fashion shows. It's like a conversation about BIPOC representation in Italian fashion.
Yeah.
And there's a presentation on sustainability, too. It feels like Milan is really using Fashion Week to talk about these important social and cultural issues.
Yeah, definitely. It's a real trend we're seeing all across the fashion industry. Consumers are demanding more from the brands they buy. Like, they want them to actually take a stand on these issues.
So it's more than just a party for the elite, then.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, that element's still there, but it feels like there's a real effort to make fashion more accessible and inclusive now, which actually brings us back to Simona Cochi.
Right.
That press release was really interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Simona Cochi, one of the first to live stream fashion shows.
Like right in the middle of the pandemic lockdowns.
And it's amazing how she still managed to capture the energy and excitement of those events, even through a screen.
She was so ahead of the curve. And it really opened up high fashion to so many more people who might never have been able to actually attend a show in person.
And in the press release, she talks about how passionate she is about showcasing Italian excellence and about bridging the gap between the fashion elite and the public. It really feels like she embodies this shift we're seeing in Milan Fashion Week as a whole.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Her work reflects this whole trend of using digital platforms to democratize fashion. It's not this exclusive world anymore.
So we've got this mix of high fashion, art, history, these incredible venues, and then it's all amplified through things like live streaming. It's a really unique formula.
Yeah, and what's really impressive is they're engaging with important issues, too. It's not just about the clothes. It's about the context, the conversations around fashion.
So much more to it.
Definitely.
I'm curious to hear more about how this impacts the designs themselves, and how they're presented. Like, are we seeing noticeable changes?
Yeah, I think we're definitely seeing designers become more aware of their impact, like their social and environmental impact.
Oh, interesting.
Sustainability is huge this season.
Makes sense.
A lot of designers are using recycled materials or experimenting with different production methods, trying to be innovative.
So it's not just about looking good, it's about doing good too.
Exactly. Consumers are getting a lot more discerning these days.
Yeah.
They care about where their clothes are coming from, how they're made, and the brands are having to respond to that.
It's like a whole shift in thinking.
Right.
Okay, so how does all of this play out in the actual shows and events?
Well, take the event at Bottega Veneta's new headquarters.
Okay.
They're partnering with Casa Molino for this one.
Wait, Casa Molino? I'm not familiar with them.
So they specialize in preserving this, incredible mid-century Italian design aesthetic.
Interesting.
It's the work of Carlo Molino. He was a really renowned architect and designer. His stuff is very influential even today.
Like what kind of style are we talking about?
It's interesting. It kind of blends Art Deco and surrealism, but there's also this like a playful sensuality to it. It's very specific.
Okay, I'm starting to get a picture. So how does this all tie back to Bottega Veneta?
Well, Bottega Veneta's creative director, Matthew Blasi, he's been drawing a lot of inspiration from that same era of Italian design.
Ah, I see the connection.
Yeah, so the partnership really makes sense. It's like they're trying to create this whole immersive experience, where they can connect fashion, art, and design history.
That's so cool. It's like designers are thinking way beyond just the clothes. They're creating whole worlds around their collections. Kind of like what Simona Cochi does with her live streams, actually.
Oh, totally. She's amazing.
It's not just about showing the clothes. It's like she gives you a glimpse into the whole atmosphere of the event.
She's such a good storyteller.
Yeah.
She can capture everything. The energy of the crowd, the anticipation before the models come out, how the music sets the mood. It's more than just seeing the clothes on a hanger.
It really is an experience.
Yes.
And it's available to anyone with an internet connection.
Exactly.
Which brings us back to fashion becoming more inclusive, right?
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see even more of that in the future? More digital access, more diverse voices, more ways for people to get involved?
I think it's inevitable. The whole fashion industry is changing so fast right now.
Yeah.
Social media, the demand for sustainability, these conversations about inclusivity, it's all forcing the industry to evolve.
And it feels like Milan is right at the front of all that. Yeah. I'm really impressed by how they've managed to blend tradition and innovation. Like they're honoring their heritage, but they're also embracing the digital world.
Yeah, it's really well done. And they do it in such a way that feels authentic, like they're not just chasing trends, they're actually setting them.
Okay, I have to admit, I'm getting pretty excited about all this. But let's be real. For those of us who aren't fashion editors or buyers, what does this actually mean? How do we actually experience this new, more accessible world of fashion?
Well, first of all, you can actually follow along with Fashion Week online.
Oh, right.
A lot of brands live stream their shows.
I should check that out.
And there's so much coverage on social media. You can get a front row seat from your couch.
So no plane ticket to Milan required.
Not at all. And beyond that, think about the brands you support.
Yeah.
Look for companies that are committed to sustainability, diversity, ethical production. The choices we make as consumers can really make a difference.
That's a good point. So, okay, we can't all be sitting in the front row.
Right.
But we can still engage with fashion in a meaningful way. Okay, but one last question. With all this digital access and everything, is there still a place for the traditional fashion show? The runway, the lights, the exclusive guest list?
That is a fascinating question, honestly. I don't know if anyone has a definitive answer. I think the format of fashion shows will just keep evolving.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see more hybrid events, something that combines digital and physical elements.
Oh, I like that.
Or maybe we'll get something totally new. Who knows?
It's like fashion itself, right?
Yeah.
Always changing, adapting, pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
But I think what stays the same is that desire to express ourselves, to connect with others, to create beautiful things.
That's a great way to put it. And I think Milan Fashion Week is a perfect example of that creative spirit, in so many different ways. The clothes, the venues, the way they're using these digital platforms. It's a real celebration of art and innovation.
And it's a reminder that fashion is way more than just what we wear.
Absolutely.
It's a reflection of who we are, what we value. It can start conversations, challenge what we think, even inspire real change.
It is a good reminder of that.
So much more to it than just the clothes.
Definitely.
It just occurred to me, we've talked a lot about designers and brands, but what about all the other people involved?
Oh, you mean like the stylists and makeup artists, the photographer?
There's all people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They play such a huge role in making these fashion visions a reality.
Absolutely, they're essential. And in this digital age, their work is even more important. Like, just think about the skill it takes to create a look that translates both on the runway and on camera.
It's a whole different skill set, right? Like, you have to think about lighting and angles and how the clothes will move.
Exactly. It's not just about technical skills either. These people have to be super adaptable, collaborative. They're working under pressure. Deadlines are tight.
Sounds intense.
It is, but I bet it's really rewarding too. Imagine seeing your work come to life on a global stage like that.
That would be amazing.
It's definitely a dream for a lot of people who want to work in fashion. And it's great to see that Milan is attracting these talented people from all over. It's like a real melting pot of creativity.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. This amazing fusion of fashion, art, digital innovation. We talked about how important sustainability and inclusivity are becoming, and even got a glimpse behind the scenes at all the work that goes into these events. But before we wrap up, I want to go back to something we talked about earlier, the future of these fashion events. Where do you see things going? What's next for Milan and for the industry as a whole?
It's hard to say for sure, but I definitely think we're going to see even more experimentation and innovation, like virtual reality.
Oh, yeah.
I think that has the potential to completely change how we experience fashion shows. Imagine being able to sit front row, even if you're thousands of miles away.
That's pretty wild. Maybe even interact with the clothes virtually. See how they move from different angles.
Exactly. And I think we'll see a continued focus on personalization.
How so?
Well, you know how brands are already using data to personalize their marketing?
Yeah.
I think we'll see that applied to fashion shows. So you could have an experience tailored to your style, your interests.
Wow. So the lines are getting even more blurred. Fashion, technology, entertainment. It's really exciting, but also a little bit overwhelming.
It is a lot to take in.
What does it all mean for the average person who loves fashion? Or even someone who's just figuring out their own style?
I think it means more opportunities than ever before to engage with fashion in a way that works for you. You can follow designers you like online, watch live streams, even participate in virtual events. You can create your own fashion content. It's a world that's open to anyone, no matter how much money you have or where you live.
So it's not about fitting into some mold anymore.
No, not at all. It's about finding your own way to express yourself, your individuality.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes Milan Fashion Week so inspiring. It really is a celebration of creativity, diversity, self-expression. It reminds us that fashion is about so much more than just the clothes.
Couldn't agree more.
So as you navigate the fashion world, just remember to stay curious, embrace those new experiences, and most importantly, have fun. Who knows what incredible things are coming next? Until next time, stay stylish.